I was watching the CMA Awards in 1991 or two, and Vince Gill had won for Song of the Year, a song called When I Call Your Name. And I turned around and looked at my mom, and she was crying. I said, "Mom, what's wrong?" She said, "Lord, I'd give anything in the world to meet that man. He's got the prettiest eyes I've ever seen." And I said, I guess that's when the good Lord put his hand on my shoulder and divine intervention. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to be on that same TV he's on. I grew up in Georgia, Crow Springs, Georgia. I don't remember my mom ever once saying, "Hey, you know, we're going to have a nice salad for dinner tonight with a light dressing and some grilled chicken." We didn't eat like that. It was, you know, we didn't have water in a bottle. We had water in a glass that came out of a spigot. I'm telling you right now, they ain't a more friendlier community than Ashland, Kentucky. Period. Nowhere. In this tri-state area, it is the most kindest, hard work. You know, I tell people I live in an average house surrounded by above average people. When I walked in over to the dealership, you know, and met Hoyt, and it really feels like home to me. They're not trying to sell you a car, they're trying to sell you the dealership. It's all about the experience. You can go buy a car anywhere. You can go buy a Nissan all over the country. Once you sell the car, you got to follow that up though, because you know it's going to need an oil change, and it's going to need a wash, and it's going to need, you know, some tie rods. It just happens. So it's just as much about the experience of having to go in there and get it, make the oil change as much fun as buying the car. And that's what I felt when I was around there. Over the course of about 3.5 years, you know, things got better and better and better, and I ended up getting a record deal, and I met a fellow by the name of Vince Gill. I said, "Vince, would you come and do a video with me?" And he said, "Man, I'd love to." And right then and there, I remember my mom, you know, saying that she had wanted to meet him. So I sent a limo for my mom in Georgia. 12 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, there was a knock on the door, and my video director, John Lloyd Miller, said, "Hey, Moselle, could you get that door?" My mom walked across that floor, taking those tiny little steps, and she opened up that door, and there he stood. And I said, "I told you that you would meet him someday." Alzheimer's is an ugly disease. Dementia is an ugly disease. I think I miss my mother's phone call more than anything. Period. Because there were so many of them. The day I had that number disconnected was one of the hardest days of my life. You know, just about killed me. So that's, you know, I try to find some comfort in knowing, you know, that, you know, somewhere in back there, you know, that she remembers or whatever, but she don't. But I do. You know, I do. I've learned later on in life, you know, happiness doesn't exist in things. That's where I find my happiness with my child. You know, I live here now. Every month I would drive 1,000 miles. I'd drive 510 miles to Georgia, spend a night with my mom, love on her like no tomorrow, get in my car, drive 415 miles to Russell, Kentucky, get my daughter, stay in a hotel room, take her to school, come get her, live as hard and fast as I could to catch up, get back in that car, go to Nashville, write songs for 2 days, leave there, go back to Georgia, say goodbye to my mom, and go back to Tampa. And I did that for 8 years, and it about killed me. One day, I just called my agent. I said, "I'm done. No more. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going where that redhead's at. I ain't living no more. There's not enough money. There ain't enough fame, ain't enough fortune to take the place of me living in this one-bedroom apartment staring at this ceiling." By the grace of God, I got lucky. I got a job here in Huntington, West Virginia at Clear Channel. And I literally live a 45-second bike ride from Caitlin. I'll never leave here, ever, period. Till God says, "Hey, we got you a spot reserved. You need to come make them laugh." I ain't got no choice. But until that time comes, I can assure you, you will see me run these roads in this neighborhood.